Hello guys, DJParson here, and I'm back with another video of the best of 16 round of the World Championship. You guys can see on the screen the 16 players that are left, and this game is going to be between totsilence and vanishadow, so rank 7 to 10. I don't know how much these ranks really say, but we will find out. So it's Germany versus China. And of course, you're also going to take a look at the votings, who would win, or where people thought who would win. And most of them said that totsilence would take this with 62% of votes, which isn't that much if you consider that vanishadow has the rest. So nobody was super convinced and locked totsilence, but vanishadow with the 25 plus the 12.5. So overall, yeah, definitely a little bit favored for totsilence, but two people were that convinced that vanishadow would win this, so they locked their voting in. So with that said, let's jump into the match. Here we can see that vanishadow has the first turn, totsilence has the second one. Vanishadow has already taken the pyramids, but let's first take a look at the leaders and wonders. We see Roman Roads as the only other good HA wonder, I would say. We have Hammurabi, Sun Tzu, Aristotle could be good combo with pyramids. We have Columbus, but no Suez. Barbarossa, Isabella, Zizka plus Sun Tzu could be aggressive early. We do have Bach, but no Shakespeare, so culture could be hard to come by if you don't get Bach. Maybe with Gaudi you can keep up, who knows. There is also Marlene, there is Bill Gates, Gandhi here as well, Red Cross, quite a lot of computer, Marie Curie, Einstein, Sid Meier, alright. So vanishadow has taken the pyramids. Totsilence, I mean, not that easy. Could take Homer Rich Land, could take just Sun Tzu, I don't know. Deny Hammurabi. Okay, he will deny Hammurabi. Go for that himself. vanishadow now could go for Sun Tzu to pressure Hammurabi a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Or he could just wait for Aristotle. But the Roman Roads does not come out, so that wonder will not be an option for totsilence now. Indeed, he will not have an option at all for a wonder. And vanishadow does do it. He does go for Sun Tzu here. I agree. First position versus second position who has Hammurabi, you can put on a lot of pressure, so I definitely like that. Totsilence will go for Hammurabi, increases pop, grabs probably the urban growth, and maybe frugality. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, leaving the engineering genius on 2, leaving the knights on 2. But vanishadow will push, and we have a super early Zizka. This is going to be interesting if vanishadow will just take Zizka here. It is an option, I would say. I would definitely say so. Yes, it's expensive on 3 civil actions, but vanishadow, he does it, alright. So I agree. The value of the cards he could take isn't that high. The first 5 cards are all really bad. vanishadow doesn't want to grab any of these. Sure, he probably would like the engineering genius, maybe the cultural heritage. But he will probably leave the cultural heritage on 2, and they can just build one stage of the pyramids, finish that next turn, or sure, go for the lab instead. Works fine as well. So yeah, Sun Tzu plus Zizka versus Hammurabi. I think totsilence will have to grab the knights here, but okay, he wants the universal, but still the knights, right? I think he has to grab these knights. He doesn't. I think he should have grab them just to be safe. I mean, even if just to take it away from vanishadow. I mean, I see a problem. Okay, if you take knights, then both ions will, or one ion will be gone, so totsilence will not get the ion, so that is a problem. But I think it's maybe a bigger problem if your opponent goes for knights now with Zizka, with Sun Tzu. He could just reveal the medieval army, spam a couple of knights, and then really steamroll you. But totsilence thinks he will be safe. vanishadow will push, will get the development of planning. We can see religion, agriculture, warfare. vanishadow will take agriculture. He didn't have a free population, so he couldn't take the warfare, couldn't take the religion. Totsilence can probably take the free religion. He needs happy faces anyway. There is Bach, so that has extra value. Vanishadow will then show tactic, but he doesn't go for knight tactic, goes for fighting band, which is also really good with Zizka here. You don't need to invest into knights, you still get quite a big amount of strength and culture. He easily will build another warrior, goes up to 6 strength. So now if he has an aggression, totsilence has no chance of defending, but he could get the warfare next turn and then he will be safe. That would delay his iron, but I think he should do it. I think totsilence next turn should go for warfare. He will get more science from the universitas soon. He doesn't really have to go for iron because he has somewhere else to invest his rocks, and that is the universitas, which he can finish in 2 turns thanks to the engineering genius. So yeah, I think with Vanishadow grabbing this iron and not the cultural heritage, he gives totsilence the option to prepare or to defend by going for warfare. And I think totsilence should go for that. He will push, he will open the development of politics. I mean, that could be useful. Even with the warfare, he would not be 100% safe from an aggression. But maybe now he has a defend card. He will go for the warfare. Will develop that. Can build 1 stage. Grabs the iron and the irrigation, and then probably builds 1 stage to get out of corruption. As I said, can finish the universitas next turn, and after that start building iron, irrigation, whatever he likes. So I think he has had a good start here. Vanishadow now, he does go for the aggression and totsilence, even with the warfare. Didn't draw a defend card, not from the politics. I mean, with Hammurabi you don't draw that many cards. But he did draw 3 extra ones from the development of politics, did draw 2 last turn thanks to the warfare. But here now he's missing 1 strength to defend. So that means the religion will be destroyed. Vanishadow gets 2 rocks for that, which will give him enough to finish the pyramids this turn. So this, or just go for iron, upgrade 2. Still a big deal. So this was very fortunate for Vanishadow getting the raid. And I would say a little bit unfortunate for Vanishadow for totsilence not being able to defend. If I was Vanishadow, I probably wouldn't have tried the aggression, depending on the cards you could push or that you already have in the deck. I probably wouldn't have tried it because 1 defend card for totsilence would have been enough. But Vanishadow did try it and he was successful. So well done. Totsilence opens development of crafts. He then will finish the... Okay, goes for Barbarossa. Interesting. I mean, yeah, sure, he has to make sure that he can defend once again. He didn't have a defend card before, so he would have to draw a new one to defend. So Vanishadow, if he has another aggression, he would definitely go for it. So totsilence will finish the universitas, build a knight, build a warrior, can copy the tactic. I mean, now he also has the upgraded fighting band, which is pretty good. And yeah, I mean, sure, he still needs happy faces. He doesn't really have a solution for that. There is still 1 theology, or there is still the theology and bread and circus. It could also be quite interesting who gets the Great Wall. With this upgraded fighting band, Great Wall is a lot more potent, especially now comboed with Barbarossa or comboed with Zizka. So as I said, I liked Totsilence's start, but with that aggression I think this game has turned a little bit. Not decided on anything, of course, but I think it's turned a little bit into Vanishadow's favor now. Good harvest, alright, that is good for Totsilence with Barbarossa, but it comes out before he goes for irrigation, so a little bit too early maybe. Vanishadow grabs the code, he still doesn't finish the pyramids. Can go for the code this turn, increase pop, build another warrior, get out of corruption. Also needs happy faces soon. At the end of the age he will get another unhappy worker, but he still has a little bit of time as well. Totsilence now will open the knowledge of the ancients, so he gets a science. Vanishadow gets 2 rocks, yeah, so he definitely has gotten the better deal, Vanishadow, but of course that is what happens when you don't go for HA wonders. Growth for Totsilence and the theocracy, yeah, I was wondering if he would do that. That is still very good with Barbarossa. Can then build another warrior, and this theocracy will be his, yeah, I mean not a real solution, but at least a start to give a solution for happy faces. There's also theology and bread and circus, but both of them will stay on 2 civil actions. And as we said, vanishadow also needs happy faces. I mean, he's still fine. He can't pop next turn, and then he won't have an active uprising. But of course, he needs a solution for that at some point. But yeah, totsilence. It even goes for another warrior to be stronger. 9 strength from him now. Alright. Vanishadow finishes the pyramids, grabs irrigation. Can even go for this turn, but increases pop. Upgrades 1 iron, so next turn he can go for the irrigation. I mean, he's also looking very solid. One problem will be happy faces, but in H2 there are enough solutions for happy faces. You're guaranteed to get an organized religion if you want it. Then there's the team sports. Not that much else, no big wonders for happy faces. Bach, sure, can give some, but probably not enough. But yeah, it's not a big issue. vanishadow still has a lot of civil actions, can next turn go for the irrigation, will get some extra food, some extra population, so like that. But he's weaker, he didn't get stronger this turn. And totsilence will open the cultural influence. Okay, that is basically not a big factor. We still have the Great Wall as well, by the way, so I would assume vanishadow takes that next turn. He has a lot of rocks, he needs happy faces, and Great Wall with the warriors is also a lot of strength. So I think vanishadow would go for the Great Wall next turn. Totsilence this turn will go for iron. Can upgrade 1. Maybe grab the swordsman. Yeah. And the Brand Circus. Okay, so he would be able to go for that and get his happy faces together. And we have kind of a strength game on our hands, so especially with totsilence going for the Brand Circus here, with the Theocracy and the Swordsman, he has a lot of more potential, so we don't know what cards he pushed, but the next deck has 2 of his where he already was planning to get stronger, so I could definitely see them being strength events. So vanishadow will go for the Great Wall, will go for Swordsman. We'll upgrade 1, 2, and even 3. He wants to be stronger here. He might know what's on top. He might know. And yeah, I mean, not drawing any H2 cards here from the first card draw isn't ideal, but I think he will manage fine. And getting stronger here also important. Next turn he could get the Masonry, and that comboed with the Great Wall would be great. But let's first see, oh, he still had some civil actions, can grab a breakthrough and a rich land, sure. Solid picks. So next turn, maybe finish the Great Wall, maybe go for irrigation, depending on if totsilence gets stronger or not. But he will push, he's not afraid. Or he doesn't care about the raiders. We don't know if he knew or if he played this card or not. You have a pretty early strategy here. I mean, maybe totsilence can just leave it on 2. The problem is he has Warfare, and Warfare is a good card, but the biggest problem is that you can't really go for strategy then. So he would just have to deny the strategy, or he leaves it on 2. But first he will go for Brand Circus, build one of those. Develops Swordsman, can upgrade 1. Upgrade 1 irrigation as well. So he, of course, has more potential for strength. More food. Not sure if he will go for Theocracy, but he needs even more happy faces. So he could go for it. Doesn't have enough science next turn. Could go for a revolution potentially. We will see, but he does get stronger now, and he has 3 cards of the 4 in the deck played by himself. So being stronger is important to him. vanishadow will go for that Masonry. With that he can finish the Great Wall quite easily. Go up to 13 strength, could even build, oh no, doesn't, or could still build even another Swordsman, but decides against it, wants the card draw and is stronger anyway. He will grab Bach, so with that he also has good culture potential, so it's starting to look better and better for vanishadow in my opinion. He doesn't have a lot of science, and totsilence is on 4 production, so that of course is very good for him. vanishadow will struggle with that, still hasn't gotten the irrigation. So this Great Wall has delayed his production a little bit. Sure, he does have good rocks, he is stronger. And with Bach he has a very good leader, probably the best. but his irrigation isn't online, so totsilence has the better production at the moment. Overall, I would say from science, food, and rocks. Totsilence will decide to go for the theocracy. That's pretty interesting, I would say. He could have maybe gone for Republic here, because he has no extra source of civil actions, so staying with this theocracy. I mean, that is a good military play that will make it probably easy for him to get stronger. The problem I see, can you really punish vanishadow with him having the Great Wall? I mean, he doesn't have that much population, so maybe that will be his weakness, that he doesn't have the happy faces, doesn't have the population to keep up in military. But totsilence then will probably build another swordsman, so he will be stronger once again. He will give vanishadow the wave, the patriotism, so he will get tools into his hand. But first he will go for irrigation. Builds 1, upgrades 1 and 2. So okay, he fixes his food production completely, grabs the wave and the efficient upgrade. Not super convinced by the efficient upgrade. I would have preferred patriotism because he skipped strategy. He might not get the con one or doesn't have the science for it. And when Zizka is gone, he's gonna go down to 2 military actions. So I would have preferred the patriotism over the efficient upgrade, definitely. Now, of course, the efficient upgrade can be used nicely with Bach, but still I think he has enough rocks. What he needs is MAs, to be sure. As we might see here, totsilence has had the war, so he will declare that one on vanishadow. So he had this war when he went for the theocracy, saw the opportunity to punish vanishadow for his low population. I mean, even if vanishadow increases pop here, that one is unhappy. He has no easy solution, no science to go for organized religion. And then if he loses more yellow cubes to the war with territory, this is a very troublesome war for him. Biggest problem that I see, totsilence can't get that much strength. This 19 will probably be the max. Grabs an efficient upgrade, that one is good. Can go for scientific method. Once more science, sure, science is always very strong. And I mean, he has very good production overall. I mean, he's had that for a couple of turns, but it is very healthy. You will probably steal 1 yellow cube here. I can't really see more. I mean, vanishadow even has enough rocks, but just not the happy faces. I don't know if he will destroy philosophies, but then even going for 1 swordsman is quite a lot of strength with the Great Wall and the fighting band. I guess he can't really fulfill that. He already fulfills the fighting band 3 times thanks to Zizka, so 1 extra swordsman is only 3 strength, so then that will not be enough. So his totsilence has put vanishadow in a tricky position, and we will see how vanishadow can solve that problem. I don't know, if you're vanishadow, it feels tough. It feels tough to... I mean, the solution would be destroy 2 philosophies, build 2 swordsmen. You would steal a lot of yellow cubes, that would help you with the heavy phases. You would get stronger, so the events are still on the deck as well. You would go down to 0 science production, so I think it would be wrong, but I think it is definitely something to think about. If that would be the move, he would basically destroy all hope from totsilence to put on pressure. If vanishadow goes for 2 more swordsmen here, steals yellow cubes from his opponent, doesn't give him any. So I'm super interested to see how vanishadow will respond here. He will open something, the wealthy. But rocks is not the issue for vanishadow, and totsilence doesn't want to lose the war, so no one will bid for this one. And vanishadow builds a religion. Okay, increases pop. Grabs the opera, so he just accepts losing the war. He will just lose the 1 yellow cube. Might lose more if there's a follow-up war, or if there's a follow-up event that could hurt him. But he decides, it's not worth it to destroy both philosophies. He probably played it through, looked if it was promising or not, decided against it. I mean, he could have also destroyed iron, maybe. You can't destroy irrigations because of Zizka. I guess you could destroy 1. Build in a swordsman out of that. Destroy 1 lab. but he doesn't want this. He thinks he can manage without the extra yellow cube. So totsilence will just steal the 1. What is his follow-up? That is going to be deciding. This war isn't that big, but is there going to be a follow-up war? No, there's going to be a follow-up aggression, but vanishadow can defend this one. Alright, then justice system is great for totsilence. He can go for that. He can upgrade 1 iron and grab one of these cards. Decides for the cavalryman instead of the cannon. I mean, this is the first cannon, so not taking this gives him the option to contest the other one. So it's yeah, down to the card draw. When does the second cannon come out? Who will get it? Vanishadow, of course, with the Great Wall, probably would like a cannon. And totsilence maybe has a tactic for just the cavalryman, so I like that as well. Vanishadow immediately grabs the Harvard College. Does he have enough rocks? He does have enough rocks to just finish it here, thanks to the Masonry. So all of a sudden, he has a very good science protection from 2 to 3. It is a big investment, but I think it's exactly what he needed. One problem still is happy faces, but with his food production, he's maybe going to be fine. He can go for Bach, rebuild the philosophies into operas, because you don't really need the philosophies anymore with the Harvard College. So I think this is a super important wonder for him, giving him science, freeing up some population. Because, yeah, he does have very good food production, but population is still his biggest issue in my opinion, because of his yellow bank, because of the happy faces. So with this, getting the wonder without, of course, wonders don't need population, so now he has some extra free population. There might be one problem if he misses out on the organized religion, but in H3 there are solutions. There is Marlene, she would give enough happy faces. There is the pro sports, and that's it, but there's still also the organized religion, so there are things that could help him here. But a quick turn from him, just go for the wonder. Finish it, and we do have a follow-up war. Vanishadow just spent quite a few rocks on that wonder. Does have the wave, so I guess he still doesn't really have a problem with his MAs. But I would assume that totsilence takes 2 cards here, and that it would mean that Zizka will be gone before the war is resolved, and then he won't have the extra fighting bands anymore. But let's see if Catherine maybe from totsilence as well destroys a lab, builds another swordsman. So he likes a swordsman here. Imagine if he was the one with a great wall. But at 25 strength, and I would assume Catherine, no, denies the organized religion. Goes for navigation, can't even develop that. So the science that vanishadow might generate from the Harvard College could soon be gone from the War for Technology. I mean, it sucks a little bit for totsilence not to get Catherine. There is Newton and Watt. He can go for Newton with the scientific method, so he at least will have an H2 leader. But Catherine could have also been pretty strong. Stealing 1 more yellow cube from your opponent would have given him more problems. So he could have not grabbed the organized religion, even elect Catherine this turn. That would have given him 1 more card draw, or given him even the option to upgrade 1 more warrior to the swordsman. So I would have liked that more, I think, but I can definitely also see denying the organized religion, because as we said, vanishadow has problems with that. I think there are enough solutions for him that with Marlene and Prospers, that I probably would have preferred to get Catherine this turn, get the 2 extra culture, get the 1 card draw, get the yellow cube next turn. But okay. This is also fine. I like the navigation, and of course denying the organized religion is also a good move. So vanishadow can build another swordsman, elects Bach, will go for the first opera here. Yeah, rebuilding 1 philosophy, increased pop, goes for 1 more swordsman, increased pop again. Okay, so he's going up to 24. He doesn't want to lose this. Yeah, sure. I'm asking myself, how would this have been different if totsilence had given him the organized religion? I don't really, it would have changed much. I mean, maybe vanishadow could have used one more population to go for one more swordsman, but even then, that wouldn't have given him another tactic. That would have given him 3 more strength. And with the science, with the war with technology, it's not as important to win it. When you make your opponent do something like this, destroying things, putting all the military, or spending all the military. Oh, and he doesn't even have more mace. So I still stand by my point that I think Catherine here would have been better. You could steal the next yellow cube. That would have given vanishadow an active uprising, where even... yeah, rebuilding, he can't rebuild anything. He would have had to destroy something, probably. So I still stand by my point. I mean, this is also good. vanishadow has problems defending this war. Will manage fine as far as the amount goes. He's gonna stay, gonna go up to 24 to 27. He's not gonna lose that much science. Just the 3. Or just the masonry, also fine, yeah. And then no follow-up aggression, but a developed territory, and totsilence is able to win this easily. vanishadow, no cards. So yeah, just a warrior for the develop. That is very good. Gives him the yellow cubes. Can upgrade 1 more swordsman to get stronger once again. And yeah, imagine if he had lost 1 more yellow cube with Catherine. Just imagine that. Would have also crippled his food production here. So I don't know if totsilence counted all of this. If he counted yellow cubes as well, because the next one is quite important. If there's 1 less yellow cube here, the production goes down quite heavily, and the amount that you need to get the next one is even higher. So I think that would have been quite impactful if Catherine would have stolen 1 more yellow cube here. I'm hanging up a little bit on that point, but I would have liked to see how that would have turned out. But this is still good for totsilence. I think at this point he has the advantage. But the disadvantage that he has is the culture. 46 to 21 and 9 production versus 2. But he has very healthy science production. vanishadow isn't bad in that regard, and he has his happy face problems. So I think it's relatively open at this point. I would prefer totsilence position, because you are a lot more flexible. vanishadow's only option is basically go for more culture, hope to defend, and just survive. Totsilence has a lot more flexibility, so I think I would prefer his position a lot more, but not by the huge amount. So vanishadow will destroy 1 food, will then rebuild 1 religion into an opera, grab the revolutionary idea, can use that immediately thanks to the Harvard College, and grabs engineering genius. So yes, he does go up to 12 culture production. See, he had to destroy an irrigation because of the happy faces. So yeah, only 2 population in the operas, and he can't build more of these operas. That is also quite important to keep in mind. He has a lot of science, so what he's probably hoping for is maybe democracy, maybe fundamentalism. I don't think he can really go for communism. But what would really solve his problems here would be Marlene. She would give 2 extra happy faces, freeing up a lot of population. But what do you see here? Bill Gates, quite an early Bill Gates, and totsilence could be ready for him. But first we see the Reign of Terror. That is also great. vanishadow will lose 1 population. Yeah, I mean, it does actually give him even more happy face problems, and he doesn't have enough food to rebuild that or to regain the population. totsilence goes for a rather late railroad. This could mean different things. For example, that he already has a war, that he wants to go get more strength to really punish his opponent. He can finish this this turn thanks to the stolen masonry, so he will go up to 8 rock production. Can then also probably grab the cannon. The thing is, there is Bill Gates just here. I guess he has no free population. That might be the problem. I think if he had 1 more population, if he had 1 more happy face, he could have built another scientific method, go for Bill Gates here and get even more rock production. But 8 here is also fine. And then he does not go for the cannon, goes for the reserves instead. But yeah, he needs culture. He needs culture soon. All war. War is always an option as well. Vanishadow immediately grabs the first revolutionary idea. Grabs an urban growth. Has to destroy another farm. That is not pretty. He had 3 farms, now he has 1. So, yeah, -1 food production. He has enough food for now, so it will take a couple of turns until that becomes a problem. But yeah, a problem nonetheless. Has a lot of science, 18 in hand, plus the revolutionary idea. Can't go for communism. At least not until there's no Marlene. With Marlene, communism all of a sudden becomes a super good card for him. But unless she shows up soon, I don't know. Crusades, at least that is a way to get some extra culture. So the difference now is at 35 to 66. It's not that huge. 1 war still would be more than enough, but the problem is it gets bigger and bigger every turn. So military theory from totsilence. It looks like he already has that war. Grabs pro sports. Skips the revolutionary idea. I mean, at pro sports, vanishadow probably would have gone for that. Would have been a nice solution for his happy faces, as long as Marlene is not here. Would have been a good strength boost for him as well. Yeah, so I like that. He could have even coupled that, go for communism plus the pro sports, but not like this. And totsilence is preparing a big war. There is Marlene. She has shown up. She will give the happy face. There is even the democracy. Are we going to see the democracy as well? Or communism maybe? Builds another swordsman. Goes for communism. Reserves. Maybe revolutionary idea as well. No, skips the revolutionary idea. Goes for another opera. 14 culture production. And enough happy faces. 29 strength. But he's not ready for new tactics. So totsilence has had a couple of turns to prepare war. I would assume that if he has one, now would be the time. We don't know if he has a new tactic, but he has pro sports, he has cavalryman, he has Newton, so researching these doesn't cost him anything. He has enough for 2 population, so he could go for pro sports, pop 2 times, build a pro sports, and then maybe more swordsmen or cavalrymen if he has a tactic for those. So I mean, of course, totsilence could take more time to prepare the next, or to prepare the first big war. But I would think if he has it, he should go for it now. Vanishadow seems weak in this position. He doesn't have too many rocks. He has no population. He can't really. It's too early to destroy the iron and confidence. Like if he needs more population to swordsman, has to destroy the iron for that. That will still hurt him because there's going to be a couple of turns where he would be missing the rocks. He can't destroy anything else. With the reserves, he has 1 free population, but then he only has 10 rocks as well. So let's see if totsilence goes for it. No, he doesn't have the war or doesn't want to go for it. He does get a historic territory, so he will win that for just a swordsman. Then he does go for modern infantry. Okay, that is an easy way to upgrade strength without needing population. Goes to 1, 2, 3. Does he go for 4? Does he want all 3 card draws? Let's see. Yes, he upgrades more. That is a big signal that he has a war. That makes me very confident that he has a war. One problem is all of these yellow cards. Vanishadow has a lot of civil actions, a lot of yellow cards in hand, and then there is military buildup, reserves, all of that good stuff. Has enough for air forces, but I think this game is not all about air force, it's mainly about modern infantry. Both of them are on the upgraded fighting band, nothing else, so having modern infantry instead of swordsmen is quite the boost. Of course, for Vanishadow especially, every swordsman or every modern infantry that he would build would be boosted by the Great Wall. And his biggest problem is population. So if he had gotten the modern infantry, then he doesn't need more population. Then he can just upgrade those swordsmen. So yeah, this is quite important for totsilence. Grabs an efficient upgrade, probably for the pro sports. So this is definitely a war setup turn. And Vanishadow will push, will get the civil unrest, but no unable workers at this point. There was potential for this to hurt Vanishadow earlier, but not anymore. Definitely the military buildup, the reserves, the endowment, all the yellow cards, 1 Air Force. I mean, it didn't even have to grab them. Both of them have shown up here. Could have grabbed the Urban Growth instead, but he decides he wants the Air Forces now. We'll use the revolutionary idea here. So 83 to 53. It's not that big anymore. There was the Crusades, there was the historic territory. So I think we are still in a position where 1 war could be enough for totsilence. But vanishadow is also ready to defend somewhat. Yeah, there's actually some problems for him, especially with taking this many cards. Totsilence could go for war this turn and then end the turn during vanishadow's or before vanishadow's turn, if he feels confident doing that. That would mean that vanishadow loses 2 more yellow cubes, giving him a starvation problem, giving him more problems. He can't use the reserves to get out population. So we will see if the age will end or not. But we have to see a war from totsilence. Now if he doesn't have one here. Okay, has the infiltrate instead. That is... I mean, he must have been pretty confident that that would go through. I mean, how many defend cards would vanishadow have needed? A couple of them, and he didn't bid high on the territory, so I think that was a big tell, the historic. Of course, vanishadow would have sent away a swordsman. The swordsman would have gotten the boost from Marlene, so that alone is quite a bit. So, yeah. Great move by totsilence, killing Marlene here, destroys his happy faces, and now I would definitely assume that totsilence doesn't end the age. You will develop the pro sports, go for Marie Curie for some extra strength, increase pop to 1 time, 1 religion, interesting, 1 in infantry, the oil. I don't really understand the religion, to be honest. The rest seems pretty clear. The oil, I'm sure, maybe has impact of industry, and the oil is quite good with Marie Curie, of course, but that doesn't actually give strength, so I guess I would have liked the urban growth more. Urban growth makes the pro sports cheap. I'm still assuming that there is gonna be a follow-up war to this play. There must be. Oh no, there can't be. He takes a card. Which one was that? Okay, I didn't see that one. Yeah, he will end the age. Does he believe that he can win this without a war? I mean, he gets the red cross, but he doesn't have that much food for it, doesn't have the civil actions for it. So there must be no war, but even no war, I would have assumed that totsilence could just try to draw the war with his 3 MAs. I am super surprised by him ending the game here. Maybe there's something that I don't see, but vanishadow even can go for the United Nations. He has enough rocks for that. He can use the reserves, finish the United Nations, so he would get a wonder here. Of course, he also has to solve his happy face, but he could just destroy 2 swordsmen, say, okay, you can go for another aggression, but I get the United Nations. So I'm definitely surprised by this. Maybe the impacts for totsilence are so good. He does have 3 of them in there. Maybe another good one in his hand as well, happy faces or something. But with that, age 4 will start, and we're not gonna get a war of a culture in this game. Vanishadow will push. A bit of progress, 8 to 18. Okay, maybe with impacts, totsilence can win this. But his opponent will go for United Nations. Finish that. Or build a religion. Finish the United Nations for 16. Does he have... He does have an impact. Impact of architecture, 6 to 3. Okay. Destroy 1 more swordsman, 1 more swordsman, and that's it. So 16 strength only. So totsilence can go for an aggression. Aggression or the armed intervention is a swing of 7 culture, so maybe he has a better impact, or he will go for an aggression. And then totsilence has 9 food for 3 stages of the Red Cross, but yeah, grabbing it is too expensive. You can only take 2 stages with the masonry. So I guess this could get really close, depend on the impacts as well. So totsilence last turn, he will go for the armed intervention, 95 to 135, but he only has 5 production, so his impacts have to be pretty good. He will take the red cross, build 2 stages, upgrade 1 more swordsman, so there could be competition, of course. I mean, he will end with 113 to 135, or 112, I can't do math. So what are the impacts? This might get close. Happiness, 4 to 12. Okay, that is a big one right off the start. So killing Marlene, infiltrating her was one of, very impactful here with the happiness. Variety, 8 to 16. So we're getting close. I'm pretty confident these 2 were from totsilence though. And we might get 1 from vanishadow, 1 from totsilence. Is that going to be enough? We get the wonders, 14 to 7. I can't see which one would be enough. Competition, 4 to 19. Is that enough? That is enough by 1 culture. Wow. Wow. Totsilence. He pulls it off by 1 culture with the final impact of competition. Wow, what a game. What a game. So, totsilence was right. He didn't need the war over culture in the end. Yeah, well played and great game. Well played by both of these. Super exciting match. And, yeah. I mean, I'm still wondering. I'm still hung up on the decision of totsilence not to wait 1 more turn, to delay the game and to wait for war. But he must have been, maybe, I mean, you can't really be confident you would win with this, but maybe he thought it would be his best chance. Drawing a war with only 3 MAs isn't that likely. Like, it is a gamble. If you haven't drawn a war yet and you think, okay, I have 3 MAs, I have not the best chances to draw the war, and if I don't draw the war and delay the game, my opponent wins because he has more culture. So probably totsilence decided his best option would be to end the game there and then it was enough by just the 1 culture, so maybe calculated that perfectly. But yeah, amazing game. Great that you guys got to see this, and thank you to Payada. He actually recommended this, so I didn't know the result of this game before recording. And let's take a look at the standings of their match now. And here on the tournament page you can see that the matches are continuing. We have 3 groups already that have finished. We will take a look at their results now. But first, in Group 7 we just saw totsilence versus vanishadow, and we can see it's a draw up to this point. 4 games, both of them have won 2, so it's down to the last game that they have to play. So super exciting here. And yeah, if all the matches are as close as the one we just saw, these 2 players are battling it out amazingly. So yeah, let's take also a look at the rest of the groups that have finished already. I guess we can do that. I mean, I might want to cover some of these, but I'm gonna take a look. If you don't want to get spoiled, now's the time for you to step away. So in Group 4, we saw one of those games. Lawang has defeated Shorty by 6 to 0 points. So congratulations to Lawang for advancing. In Group 6, we see that we have Vaida advancing over PV4. We also watched one of those games. Vaida PV4 was able to win 1 match, but Vaida got the 3 that he needed. So congratulations to Vaida. This is the second player that has advanced, and the second one is also from China. Group 8 is also finished, and here we see Sandhippo versus Vivi, and Sandhippo is able to win it 3 to 0 as well. So congratulations, Sandhippo. Congrats, congrats. The rest of the groups are still going on, but we have our first 3 players who will go to group stage, or will go to the next playoffs, to the quarterfinals. And with this, the new look at the current standings, we can see the first 3 players are all from China. So China going strong. We have 7 contestants from China in this in this round of 16. So the only group where there's no Chinese player is the first one, Weinbaum versus Nickelberg. So if everything goes perfectly for the Chinese players in the next group stage, or in the next stage, we're only going to have one player not from China. But of course, that is not decided yet. But first, congratulations to Santepol, Lawang and Vaida. And we're going to stay excited to see who else will advance. And from this game, I mean, we just saw totsilence win versus vanishadow, so Germany's hope, I mean, not the only hope, we still have Vortex and Weinbaum as well, are also still alive. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You definitely should have. This was an amazing game. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a nice comment. Maybe subscribe to catch the rest of the games. I'm gonna cover a lot of them here, of course, up to the grand finals. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it and see you next time, guys.